Kingsley on the streets as usual. So today, polygamy in the African community. Interesting subject, especially when it's a matter of men and women. So I'll be out here in Seven Sisters. I'll be talking to male and female, getting their views on this topic. So you join me and let's see what the public have got to say about this. So where are you from?
My parents are from Guyana in South America.
Okay. So what are your views about polygamy? Are you for it or against it?
It's not simple, is it? If you are from a family where the men are powerful,
Yes.
there will be mistresses and other wives. And I have come from one such family.
Wait, are you for it or against it?
I think that women should be able to have as many husbands as they want.
I'm against it.
Why?
From religious point of view, I'm a Christian, and Christianity is against polygamy.
So, if you have money, it also draws more women or more...
It's a question of looking after women who in turn help look after property, land, farms, and so on. At least that's the old concept of polygamy.
Yeah.
It's not about sex at all. It's about labor and helping with farmlands and look after the extended family.
One woman cannot, mother two children at the same time. Or how do they say that?
But you see, the thing is, men are so good at looking after children. Look at this.
I'm also taking care of one, trust me, I know that.
Yeah.
But,
Hiding something.
okay, so are you saying it's for women?
I think that my point is about equality, and I hope that is clear.
Even though it's normal in Africa, our forefathers and our immediate families,
Yes.
extended families, they still do practice polygamy.
Can you give me the advantages? Or?
Well, it definitely works in places like northern Nigeria and old Guyana, where very few people had a concentration of power, the men.
Yes.
Yeah?
I think the point is respect.
Respect, yeah? So if one woman have more than one husband, in your view, then she should be able to respect each and every one of them at the same,
I think consent, respect, and choice.
The Apostle Paul talked about the qualifications of being a bishop, and bishop not in the sense like we see it these days.
Yes.
Everybody is a shepherd. Bishop in the actual context is a shepherd.
Yeah.
And we Christians, we are shepherds in our own ways. You don't have to be a pastor to be a shepherd.
Yeah.
So if I take the qualifications of a bishop in the context of me being a shepherd, then Paul told Timothy that each man should have one wife.
I think polygamy actually is the natural nature of humans. Even though I'm not for or against it, but looking at how society, how we live our lives, you realize that the human being just tries to pretend not to be himself. Because
when you say pretend, what do you mean? Can you be
more? No, what I mean is like if you get married, then you have to go by certain rules and regulations.
I'm against it.
Now I ask a question. Where are you from?
Nigeria.
Niger, Igbo, Yoruba,
Igbo.
Igbo,
Yeah.
only Igbo.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, why are you against it?
Because God didn't create it that way. Marriage was an institution between one man and one woman. And even when the Pharisees went to Jesus and said, but Moses gave us a certificate for divorce.
Yeah.
Jesus said, God did that because of the stubbornness of your heart, not because it was right. Because in the beginning, it was man and woman. It said, whatever God's put together, let no man put apart.
The bishop is not like the bishop we see
today.
Yes, the bishop is in the sense of being a shepherd. And we Christians, the Bible says that we should be one another's keeper. So every Christian is a shepherd in that context.
Okay,
you're not supposed to do that and just do this.
Some laws.
Yeah, even when you're a little boy, when you're growing up, you have to go by certain rules. And even though you might not like or your parents or people around you or society might be, you have to kind of go along with it. So you see that this is something that we really suppressed in ourselves. You know,
So does it mean if it's right or if it's wrong?
I think if you have to really be yourself, you have to be free and be true to yourself, then you realize that it's a natural aspect of yourself. So
You married one woman, you married one woman.
Yeah.
You said vows between that one woman, so it's a covenant. And what they used to do is like in the Old Testament, they'd have the animal cut it in half and walk right through between the animal. When you're making that covenant, you're saying, if I break this covenant, then do to me as this animal was.
The disadvantages could come in sense of like various diseases, you know, like sexually transmitted diseases, because if a man can't stick to one partner and sticks to like various women, you can see that if one man or if one woman has a disease and he goes and sleeps with that woman and then goes to the other woman, you may see all of them as, I mean, his wives, or I mean, like legitimately, and maybe he would have no need of protecting himself sexually, since he sees all the women as wives, and he could pass the disease from one
to the next, to the next, to the next.
I've got friends who are married and stuff, and they're always walking with their wives and they're looking at other women. It's something that they cannot hide. It's a natural.
It's a natural.
Mistake. It's something that is there because there are billions and billions of beautiful people in the world. How can you not get attracted to someone else, even if you married to the Miss World or something?
Yes.
You're going to see another woman who is more beautiful than Miss World or your wife. And that attraction is a natural thing. It's not something that you were creating, but it's something that comes from within
there.
you. You know,
In society, through sin and the way we want to live and trying to have things our own way, how our cake could eat it too, we break that covenant. And so God will end up judging us on, because we know, right? So you're going to be like, polygamy is cool. So you could have 10 wives, but as soon as that one wife decides to have more than one husband, you're going to feel a bit offended. So you know it's wrong because you're feeling offended.
I think there will be breakages in, family breakdown. And like where I come from in Ghana, we have examples like that where, the man falls in love with one particular woman amongst the women.
And he favors that one above all.
That, and then the kids. And the others are forgotten.
You can be a man of God, you can be, a pastor or whatever, but you can see one member in your congregation there will be something that will be there, but you have to suppress it. You have to suppress it. Why? Because, you know, you are wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You're trying to
just
be
to be politically correct.
Exactly.
So what do we have to do? What do we do about that? Do we continue suppressing? Or do we just...
I think if people can be themselves, then they will be true to themselves. So I wouldn't say we should keep on suppressing, but I would say that we should be ourselves. So whatever you want to be, just be. Don't try, don't pretend, because it's better to be true than to pretend. Yeah, it's better to be true than to pretend. So
Fair enough, a woman, it might not be feasible for her to be able to go and have a child, and have 5 different children at the same time from different men. You think a man can, but as soon as that woman goes away to sleep with another man, in the man's conscience, he knows this is wrong. I'm not having it. And if you're not having it, why should she have it?
With the advantages, why most of them did what they did in terms of polygamy was like, in the early days, most of them were farmers. They had big farms and stuff. So, marrying more women, they had the advantages of giving birth to more kids. And then they used to send the kids to the farm.
So there's more labor force to do the work.
That's it. Besides that, there's no other advantage.
What about so talking about the suppression and being? We talked about the atomic bomb. Rather than it exploding, becoming something dangerous, are you saying that women and men go ahead and not just look, not just suppress, go ahead and maybe touch and go put your word into action, put your feelings into action?
Yeah, I think everything that comes and goes.
Because God cursed the earth from when Adam and Eve sinned. And so when we try to do things in how we think they should be,
Yeah.
and then we wonder why things aren't going right, the reason is because we're operating under a universal principle that can't be changed.
You know, so for instance, if you accept someone into your life, that person came, so it's possible for that person to go.
Yeah.
But everything that comes goes. So for instance, if you're in a relationship and you're not really, you can feel that it is not really working anymore.
Yeah.
The Jews have already gone.
It's sapped out.
Yeah. So what do? You just have to, if you
Eject.
yeah,
Put
you
your
just have to
parachutes on
move
and-
on. If you realize that there's something that is also getting attracted to some, you can move on. You can act. You can touch. You can go ahead.
With David,
Yeah.
right? God judged the child. And if you look at the anarchy that happened in David's household and his family,
Yes.
God said the sword will never depart from your house. So David's son killed his brother because his brother tried to rape his half-sister.
Yes.
So all this craziness, there's a lot of stuff that happens spiritually in our lives when we make certain decisions. People forget, yeah, the world was framed by the word of God. Not just it was created, but the institutions and the principles.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus said, you know what, yeah, when heaven and earth passes away, the word will still stand.
Yeah.
Every principle. You wonder why people don't succeed in life, is because we're operating under a curse.
So I heard somebody say that because the statistics of men and women is not really balanced. It's not like there is one man for every woman. As in there are more women. So, you know, men tend to grab more to legally satisfy their strong...
I disagree.
You disagree with that?
Yeah.
So you believe if every man takes one woman,
Yeah.
there is enough women to go around for...
Yeah, because life is like a cycle. People are born, people die.
Okay.
So, and we can have, the right estimation as to how many women die and vice versa, in relation to men. So,
Okay.
how can you even tell?
We have the idea that everything has to stay the
You
way
have
they
a
are.
moral duty to
You know,
stay.
like to stay forever. But even your own body would not stay forever.
You feel in your heart that you've been wronged,
Yeah.
you can't then have the same heart to do it to somebody else.
You will not stay forever. So how come you expect something to stay forever? If, for instance, you go to the shop and you buy a flower, you might love the flower. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But guess what? A time will come when that flower will die or that flower will go.
Disadvantage is the fact that a woman is having to watch someone that she loved, especially the first one who gets married to the man.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to watch someone she loves sleep with someone else and have a child with somebody else, and then they're gonna breed content. Women are competition. They're competitive. They might not.
Jealousy, yeah?
No, but they are in terms of territory.
Yeah.
They're going to be very competitive. So like Abraham and his wife said, hey, you know what, you know what, because I'm too old to have a child, you sleep with my maidservant. She slept with him, had a child. Now the maidservant is now having beef with Sarah because
Yeah.
she's like, well, I'm having a child for this man.
Yeah, and
like,
you're not.
there's an issue here.
Yeah.
And then Sarah ends up having beef with her and says, you know what, get her out of this house. And so Abraham has to kick her out. Jacob and Rachel and Leah, he got tricked into marrying one of them, right?
Yes.
But he still ended up with two wives. The two of them had competition. They were having babies for the sake of competition to win their husband's love. That is not a life to live. There's
Having
nothing right
babies
about
for the
that.
sake of competition.
Well, because
That's
you're
interesting.
thinking, because especially in that type of culture, they're thinking, well, if I bear my husband a son, then I'm going to be the one who's loved. But that's not, there's no happiness in that. All that competition, there's no happiness in that. So it's going to be a madness for them girls, and then for the man to have to deal with that many women.
The life that embodied these two flowers is the same. So you can put that one, if it's dead, you can throw it away and go buy a new flowers and it will still be the same life.
One woman, find one wife, and stay that way.